Jujutsu Kaisen is typically regarded as one of the best new-gen animes for its peak animation and fights, and you guys really seem to enjoy my Demon Slayer video, so I thought, why not? In today's video, we'll be going through the Jujutsu Kaisen anime and ranking every single fight in the show. Just keep in mind for this video, because Jujutsu Kaisen has such good fights, the rankings are slightly more strict than the other video, so just keep that in mind when watching. Please subscribe as it helps a lot, and enjoy. If you're a fight in the trash tier, it's not necessarily that the fight was terrible, it's that it pissed me off on some level. In dead last, we have Yuji and Megumi versus the Random Curse in episode 1, for the sole reason that if Megumi wasn't such a fraud, everything bad in the story wouldn't have happened. I'm just saying, Megumi can't exercise this shitty weak curse. He's a fraud for this. In 47th, I got Nobara versus Haruto. Once again, I mean, Nobara just like underperforms to such an extreme extent. And then like 7 episodes later, she does so much better against Mahito. Like, I don't understand why she did so bad against Haruto. Cringe character design, cringe character, just everything about him is terrible. So the fact that she's just getting beat by him is just so sad to watch. Yuji versus Junpei in episode 12. I mean, this wasn't even much of a fight. I also find it hilarious that Yuji launches Junpei through a window. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I really did not care about the Junpei arc. Those are some of the most boring episodes to me personally. Speaking of frauds, again, we got the Kyoto School versus Kenjaku at the end of season 2. Dude, Mekamaru told y'all to stand down because he knew you ain't shit. You know what they did? They said, he doesn't believe in us. What a dickhead. They went anyway, didn't listen to him. All of them tried to attack Kenjaku, and it was just the most embarrassing display I've ever seen in my life. Their entire school was carried by Mekamaru and Todo. It's actually insane. In 44th, I have Yuji getting bodied by that special grade curse in episode 4. It was just Yuji getting thrown around. I don't really have much to say about this, to be honest. In 43rd, I have Mei Mei and Wee Wee versus the special grade disease curse in episode 14 of season 2. This fight pissed me off because Mei Mei goes, "Are you willing to die for me, Wee Wee?" And he goes, "Oh my god, yes, my queen," being the simp he is. And then he didn't die. Bro, if Wee Wee died in this fight, that would have been so nice. Or Mei Mei. I hate both these characters. Mei Mei is just a weird groomer, and Wee Wee is just a giga simp, bro. I wanted him to die in this fight so badly, and he didn't. In 42nd, I have Yuji versus that random stuffed animal in episode 2. I mean, it was just goofy and weird. That's about it. And then in 41st, for my final fight in the trash tier, I know someone's gonna comment about this, but I have Yuji versus Mahito part 1 in season 2, episode 18, basically. Part 1 of the fight is episode 18. Part 2 is episode 19. The reason I'm splitting them up is because episode 18's animation was so bad. I know I'm gonna have people crying like, but the mapper staff, they're overworked. Yes, they were overworked. I get that. That doesn't mean the episode's animation wasn't bad, because it was. As an actual fight, it probably should be higher, but it just pissed me off with how bad the animation was at some point, so I'm just putting it down here for now. Nobara versus that random curse in episode 3. I mean, it was but the end of the fight where she used her straw doll technique was pretty cool, so that's why it's not in the trash tier. I mean, the fight was really short, but it had kinda decent animation, I guess, but it also didn't really piss me off, so that's why it's not in the trash tier. In 30th place, I have Yuji and Nanami versus the 2 random transfigured humans in episode 9. I will say, I'm glad, like, after a certain part of the show, the curses don't just look like these ugly things, because it's much cooler watching them fight something like Jogo or Mahito or Sukuna versus this disgusting thing. Like, it's just so ugly, and it just hurts to look at, bro. This was a pretty well animated fight. The only issue is just I don't give a shit about the dude he was fighting at all, and I don't think you did either. This fight is just slightly above the last one. It's with 2 characters I literally don't give a shit about, but I will say the animation and choreography was actually pretty good, so I gotta give it some credit, I guess. This wasn't even really a fight, it was much more of a one-sided beatdown. When I first saw this episode, I thought Todo was really brain dead and autistic, and I actually didn't really like him that much. Overall, obviously, he becomes a way better character later on. I just find it hilarious that at the end, I swear to God, it seemed like Megumi was about to summon Maharaga against Todo, which would have been so funny. Everyone versus Dagon. Now, I'll be honest, until a certain man comes in, this fight was kind of just mid as hell, bro. You know, when I was going back and making this list, when I saw Megumi versus Kamo, I'm gonna be honest, I forgot Kamo was even a character in the show. The fight had some semi-decent moments, but overall, it's extremely forgettable. Panda versus Mekamaru had some really well-animated shots and some pretty cool sequences. The only problem is there was a lot of yapping in this fight, and overall, I don't think anyone cares about Panda or Mekamaru that much, especially in season 1. For our final fight in the decent tier, we have Yuji versus the Grasshopper in season 2. I mean, it's against a complete nobody curse, but I will say there were some pretty cool sequences, like when they're exchanging blows, and also like the shadow figure of Yuji looked badass as hell. So that's why it's the top of decent tier, but I can't really put it any higher than that. For our first fight in the good tier, I have Megami Yuji versus the reverse guy. He had an interesting gimmick, but the fight itself wasn't anything too special. Although I will say, unless I'm wrong, which there's a chance I am, but I don't think I am, I think this is the only time Yuji and Megami fight together in literally the entire show. This fight definitely had some good sequences and good moments. The only issue for me when I was watching it was the fight was long. Like, this fight lasted 2 episodes for some reason. Although I will say, watching Nanami go into overtime was pretty badass. As a moment in the show, it was great, but as a fight, it was not really much of a fight even. But I will say, it was so satisfying watching Nanami absolutely beat the brakes off of Haruto. Oh my god, every single punch killed him. It was insane. In episode 2, we got to see a little 10-second segment of Gojo versus Sukuna. Once again, it was super short, not really much of a fight, but watching Gojo just absolutely humiliate him was so cool, bro. I love Gojo, he's so goddamn awesome. Miwa versus Maki was a pretty fun fight. Mai had apparently told Miwa that Maki was weak, and then when she starts getting beating the shit out of her, she's like, bro, fuck Mai, bro, she ain't weak at all. Maki looked really cool in this fight, really good choreography, and she was just looking like a badass like she always does. Next, I got Nobara versus Momo. This fight was like 90% yap, 10% fight, but what they were yapping about actually was kind of cool. Momo was talking about how female sorcerers have to be beautiful and strong, unlike the men that are just strong. And she was just doing a lot of yapping. I actually thought Nobara was going to say some cringe shit back, but she actually said something pretty smart. She's like, that's not true at all. You're brain dead. I love myself when I'm strong and when I'm pretty and dolled up. And it was just like a good message for women out there. So I respect the non-brain dead writing for Nobara. This was just straight disrespectful. Bro literally put his hand on his shoulder and said, hold up, bro. And this curse tried to attack him, and it was just, oh, he was just getting embarrassed. Who's gonna actually put his schlong on this fucking curse, bro? It was just bullying it for fun. Yuji and Nobara versus Choso's brothers. There were some definitely cool moments, like Nobara fucking stabbing herself with the nail. That was hardcore as hell, bro. My only problem, and this is gonna sound dumb, but I can't take a fight seriously when the villains or things they're fighting look this stupid, bro. Like, look at them, especially the younger brother. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. And then what is this bro wearing? The guy over here, I don't know what this outfit is, but it needs to go. And it's like, these two are so ugly. And then look at Choso, bro. It's like, bro got all the good genes in the family. Nobara versus Mahito is actually pretty good. We got to see Nobara shine for like once in the show. I mean, she did in the last fight, but this was actually a really good fight. Really good animation, really good choreography, really cool, like the way she used her powers against the clone. I mean, we all know how it ended, but you know, gotta give her some credit. It was a fun fight to watch. Gojo versus the box guy. This fight just looks so good. The music was also really good in this fight. I really enjoyed the music, and obviously Gojo just makes everything cool. Animation, music, just everything about this fight was so clean. Maki versus Mai in episode 17. This was a very interesting insight into the sisters' relationship. We got to see their backstory and why Mai is such a bitch to Maki and why Maki has chosen the path she's chosen. It actually was pretty emotional for Mai. I actually did feel bad for her at the end of the fight. But the fight itself wasn't really much of a fight, honestly. Maki kind of dog-walked her. Mai conjured a 7th bullet in the revolver to catch her off guard, and Maki caught it. This fight was just pure fun. Watching Sukuna dog-walk Megami. Megami's like, I'll force him to regen his heart. Brother, I don't know who he thought he was in this moment. Also, I will say this. Sukuna is so lucky he didn't summon Maharaga, because if he summoned Maharaga at this point in the story, Sukuna's cheeks would have been spread, bro. I mean, this might have been one of the most one-sided beatdowns in the entire show. I don't know why Jogo thought he was all that in a bag of chips. Gojo quickly put him in his place real hard. He even brought someone to spectate the fight. Jogo goes, you sure that'll be okay? And he goes, that'll be fine. After all, you're kind of weak. Oh my god, bro. Jogo shit his pants and he got so mad after that. Also, what makes this fight in the great tier for me is we got to see domain expansion for the first time from Gojo, and that move is just a one-shot. If it hits you, you will die. Watching Megami finally surpass his limits and not relying on Maharaga for once was so badass. Incomplete domain. His maniacal laughter. He even said like this special grade curse is many tiers of magnitude higher than the one that Yuji and him fought in like episode 4. Watching him just destroy this thing in a 1v1, that was badass, bro. I gotta give him some credit. This was actually a really cool scene. You know, when I was first making this list, I was thinking this would definitely be like a legendary fight. Bro, this isn't even like a top fight in the great tier. Definitely is really cool because Toji is just a cool ass character, but this was a really short little skirmish. Toji kind of just put Geto in his place just a little bit. And also, this is the episode where Getsu's true personality really became true, because Toji said his favorite word one time, and then, you know the rest from there.
Filthy monkey who can't even use jujutsu. Monkeys, 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 monkeys.
This fight was badass, bro. Chozo versus Kenjaku. Seeing Chozo go literally all out for the sake of his brother. It is crazy though, because Chozo is special grade and he is insanely strong, but compared to Kenjaku, bro, he just got like embarrassed, honestly. But it still looked really cool and the music was really good also. When I saw this fight in the beginning of season 2, I did not expect anything from it. Mechamaru versus Mahito. Mechamaru was like a giga side character in season 1, and then they gave him a whole episode with insane animation and an insane fight with Mahito. When I first saw this episode in the beginning of the season, I was thinking, if they're gonna give a side character this cool of a fight, I can't even imagine how good the main fights of the season are. Like, that was like the telltale sign for me that I just knew this season was going to be absolutely peak. In episode 19, we see the follow-up of Yuji versus Mahito. I'm just going to call this Yuji versus Mahito part 2. The animation in this segment is so much better than the last episode. I just literally would call it a separate fight. This fight, this little flurry of attacks from Yuji just looked so good. The animation team, honest to God, went crazy at this point. Props to them, bro, because this was honestly just so cool to watch. I've never seen a flurry of punches this cool in my life. The next 3 fights in the grade tier, all fights are jump-ins. They're just the jump-ins in the show. First one, we got Yuji and Todo versus Mahito at the end of season 2. I don't think this was as good as the Yuji and Nanami jump-in versus Mahito, but this fight also still had a lot of really good moments. Like, obviously, a great moment that comes to mind is when Yuji throws the rock and Todo switches with it. That whole animation sequence when he hit it Black Flash, that was so over the top and dramatic, but it fit his character perfectly. And also, we got the 120% of their potential has been unleashed shot. That was cool as fuck. But overall, I don't think it was as good as the one with Nanami in it. Speaking of the fight with Nanami, yeah, Yuji and Nanami versus Mahito in season 1. This is my 11th place fight. I think this is actually better than the one in season 2. The fight seemed a lot more grounded, if that makes sense, than the one in season 2. I loved the part where they were ragdolling him back and forth and he did his domain expansion. That was just so cool. Like, he's like, I think I could do it now. And then the animation for the domain just looks so cool. Overall, I think this easily could be the best like group fight in the show. However, yeah, number 10 is Todo Yuji versus Hanami. This is the best jumping in the show. A lot of people are going to be surprised that this isn't in the legendary tier. I could see an argument for putting it in here, but like I said in the beginning, I'm very strict with what I'm giving legendary, and the season 2 fights were just so insane. Like, I don't know. If you put it higher, that's perfectly fine. Don't come for me in the comments. This fight was so cool. Seeing Yuji unlock Black Flash the first time. Bro just learned it and already hits the record of 4 Black Flashes in a row against Hanami. Let's be real. The star of this show is Todo. Todo was the star of this fight. His boogie woogie made for such an interesting fight dynamic that's like never really been done before in anime. It was definitely very groundbreaking. I think it won anime fight of the year when it came out, which honestly it is deserved because it's just like a very different take on a fight than pretty much any anime has ever done before. Overall, this is a great fight, but for me personally, I just don't think it makes it to the legendary tier.
Domain expansion. Infinite void.
For our first entry in the legendary tier, I have Gojo versus the Disaster Curses in Shibuya. Gojo honestly was just laying down the law in this one, bro. He was walking around smacking them with his dick, fucking walked into the wall and just splattered Hanami everywhere. Mahito, Choso, and Jogo all tried to press him in this. He wasn't even like paying attention half the time, I swear to God. He was just like staring off in his own thought. They all were like, the only way you can take us all down is if you use your domain expansion, but you won't do that. He's too much of a pussy. They were all like, seriously? He's gonna do it? Domain expansion, infinite void. Oh my, and then he just, obviously runs through in 0.2 seconds, killing all the transfigured humans. I think it was like he killed 1,000 transfigured humans in 0.2 seconds. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good speed right there. Obviously, we all know how it ended. Not the best, not the most fortunate for our boy Gojo, but overall, it was a really great fight.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
In 8th place, I got Toji versus Gojo. I really wanted to put this one higher. But guys, let's be real. As a fight, I don't even know if this one even deserved to be in 8th place because it wasn't much of a fight. There was like 3 attacks that were thrown and the fight was over. Gojo absolutely embarrassed Toji. I'm so sad. I'm a professional Toji glazer, but bro, he got absolutely violated in this fight.
Please, watch over me. This is your older brother!
Okay, for some reason on my first watch through, I didn't appreciate this fight that much, but after watching it back, after reading the manga and watching it again for this video, dude, this fight is actually like a masterpiece, bro. This entire episode was just straight hands. The choreography, especially like when they got in the bathroom and it was more of just a straight hands fest and less like blood manipulation. There were so many really creative, good shots of them fighting, like Yuji swinging around the bathroom stall, drop kicking him. There was just a whole bunch of other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but this fight was honestly just like, if you like straight choreography, hand to hands, this fight was just peak, bro. Absolutely peak. I guess I'll also say the animation and the music was just also so good in this episode. Like overall, this is just a 10 out of 10 fight in my mind.
To the one who left it all behind and his overwhelming intensity.
Okay, 6th place. I mean, we got Toji. This is when shit starts really ramping up. Toji versus Dagon. Oh my god, this was one of the most one-sided massacres I have ever seen. The animation in this fight was absolutely top-notch. Toji walks into the domain and everyone's like, who is this brother? Dagon's like, he has no curse energy, he's a shitter, I'll ignore him. Brother, he had no idea what was about to hit him. Toji absolutely goes flying at Mach 853 and just starts bashing the shit out of him. Everything Dagon tries, nothing works. He's just getting slapped around like a goddamn cum dumpster. Eventually, Toji starts smashing Playful Cloud together to make them into spikes. That was just so brutal, bro. Dagon got actually violent. And then at the end, when he gets launched in the air, stabbed through the head, and just gets beat into an absolute pulp. He's the GOAT, bro. That's why Toji is just straight up the best character in the show.
No. Wait. He's after... Amanai!
In 5th place, I have Toji versus Gojo. This fight was honestly, I don't think it was as good as the fight versus Dagon, but I'm putting it above it just because Gojo's involved and Gojo's way cooler than Dagon. Also, it was very interesting seeing someone, pretty much the entire show, no one was able to touch Gojo at all, and then out of nowhere, this random homeless man is able to just destroy him in a 1v1. Like, it was just so unexpected and so hardcore, so badass. This fight literally just made me a Giga Toji fan, so I gotta give it some respect. In 4th place, we have a fight between two different generations of the same lineage. Father versus son, Toji versus Megumi. I mean, this wasn't really much of a fight as it was more just Megumi running for a dear god while Toji was just running at him constantly. Megumi was holding his own for a decent bit. I'll give him some credit. He was not insta-dying. We gotta give him some credit for not getting speed blitzed. He did a lot better than Dagon now that I think about it. You know, now that I think about it, he actually did do much better than Dagon. Megumi above Dagon? I don't know. The scene where Toji kicks the ground and hits all the pebbles into the bunnies. Oh my god, it's so good. And then also the reason why this fight is super high is the ending of the fight when Toji offs himself because he realizes it's his own son. Such a heartwarming moment. Just overall, great animation. Anything with Toji in it is going to be awesome. So yeah, that's why it's up here.
Stand proud. You are strong.
In our 3rd place, I got Sukuna versus Jogo. I initially thought this was going to be my 2nd place fight, but I put it in 3rd place. This, along with Toji and Dagon, might have been one of the worst ass whoopings in anime I've seen in a while. First of all, let's go to say it. The animation in this fight is so good, bro. Sukuna is just such a badass, just absolutely humiliating Jogo. Jogo's doing all sorts of crazy shit, but Sukuna's just having fun, just bullying him. This fight is honestly, like, could easily be one of the best fights for most animes, but JJK is just held to such high standards. They're only 2 seasons in. Later in the show, we're, gonna get some legendary fights, but this fight was honestly just really good music, really good animation, really just cool moves from both them. Just overall, a great fight.
I'll accept it, Mahito. I am you.
Yuji versus Mahito at number 2. This fight, this final fight, Yuji versus his final form, this fight has grown on me so much. When I first watched it, I was like, this fight's pretty good. The more I've watched this fight, the more I appreciate it. The choreography in this fight is probably the best out of any of the fights in the entire season when it comes to just like straight hand-to-hand combat, other than maybe Choso and Yuji. But oh my god, the music, the build-up, I mean, this fight has been built up for like 2 seasons now. It's like the crescendo of that entire build-up. The music, animation, choreography, the stakes, the final fight of the season, just everything comes together so beautifully. There are some sequences that are just like, when I watch them, I'm like, this is so good. And then obviously, to beat Mahito, Yuji needs to land a Black Flash. No sorcerer in history can use Black Flash at will, other than, Yuji Itadori, of course. He is the one chosen by the Black Sparks. He is the GOAT. He is so cold in this fight. He goes from like goofball in season 1 to like this fight, bro. He just became a man. He put on his big boy pants and he just brought the pain. This fight was so good. I love every minute of it. This would easily be number 1 if it weren't for the #1 fight, which, I mean, we all know what it was going on to this. Let's be real. But yeah, this fight, amazing.
Now you fascinated me, Megami Fushiguro.
I mean, if you watched my Demon Slayer video, you already knew this was coming. Sukuna versus Maharaga. This was a generational fight. And when it aired, it was only, I think, like 30% completed at the time or something. And it's still better than pretty much every other fight in anime, other than, like, I think maybe Tengen and Gitara. I still don't know which one I prefer. I go back and forth a lot. This fight was so hype because it's, like, the first time in the show we got to see Sukuna go, like, all out and not insta-kill his opponent. Maharaga just had so much aura, bro. That guy was insane. This fight lasted, like, the entire episode. It was so beautifully animated. The music, the voice acting, bro. Everything came together for a literal monumental occasion of a fight. This is like a generational fight. You see, like, 1 or 2 of these in your life, and then you die. That's it. We were blessed to be born in the era of JJK Season 2. Mappa cooked so hard. I cannot wait to see how they cook the future fights in the show. The Domain expansion, the Fire Arrow. Dude, this is like peak cinema right here. And then obviously they released the Blu-ray version, which was like more fixed up. There was even more shots than that, bro. Made it look even better, even cooler. But yeah, overall, this, I think, is the greatest fight in JJK, or even the greatest fight in anime, a lot of people would say. So yeah, I don't think anyone's even debating this isn't the best fight in the show. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you would have put as your top 5, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.